What's up, guys? Welcome back to another MMA video. Right, I don't do them much on here because I do mostly musical topics, but today I was watching a video and I read the article where Brendan Schaub got emotional over Shane Carwin. And his friend Shane Carwin, he said he's been friends with him for about 20 years. And Shane Carwin was in the UFC around the time Brock Lesnar was in the UFC. And Shane Carwin ended up, I think, at one point being an interim champion. He would brutally knock people out with one punch. Just literally one punch and he would knock fools lights out. And now Brendan is saying that he suffers from a bad case of CTE. And CT is like head trauma that you get from like football, wrestling, boxing, and so forth. And what Brendan was getting emotional about is how bad his friend is and he's not being compensated. Basically says, dude, Nate, I'm not the guy you want to mess with. I'm not one of your homies. I'm not a fake gangster. I'm not somebody that just goes online and trash talks people, especially when it's in an emotional time. He goes, Nate, if you want to talk crap, you know where to find me. Don't show up with 10 of your goons. Actually show up with yourself, because he says a real tough guy would show up one-on-one, not 10-on-1. A real tough guy would say, hey, we can go grapple right now and we'll see who wins. Let's put a grappling match together and let's see who wins. We'll do an open weight class. It doesn't matter. Brendan Schaub says he's 6'4", 245 pounds, right? He was a UFC heavyweight top 10 fighter. He was never a champion. Same thing with Nate. Nate was probably around, at his heaviest, probably I'd say 175, maybe 180 at the heaviest, and has been in the top 10 of the UFC's light weight division for over a decade, right? He said, what are you gonna do? Just volume punch me and make me gas out? Because yes, he has better cardio than Brendan, but is it going to be easy for him to volume punch him? Is it going to be easy for him to grapple somebody of that size? Because, like I said, Brendan Schaub is a big dude, and a lot of people sleep on the fact that Brendan Schaub was a decent fighter at the time. Most people forget how good he actually was. So as you can see there, Shane Carwin was a beast. He was a dude who would throw one punch and knock out Gabriel Gonzaga. He took out Brock Lesnar until, I mean, the fight with Brock Lesnar could have been stopped, right? I think he could have been stopped there. But you can see the dude was just a beast. He was a good wrestler with enormous power in his punches. He had like triple X gloves, and one punch to the jaw would just knock his opponent silly. So as you've seen right there, most people sleep on Brendan Schaub. Most people don't even realize Brendan Schaub was a top heavyweight fighter in the world. Most people don't see Brendan Schaub as that. They just know him from Fighter and the Kid. They know him as Joe Rogan's buddy, but they don't really know the fact that he was a guy who knocked out Mirko Cro Cop. He's a guy that did fight some of the top guys in the world, as you could have seen clearly from the footage. Here, we realized that Brendan Schaub was a decent fighter. He had decent striking. He had good grappling, but he had the ability to knock people out. But I would not kick somebody when they're down. I wouldn't say, like, I think it's disrespectful that you go, oh, you're a bitch because you're crying because your friend has CTE. Again, it's a part of the sport, right? And he goes, you're a fake gangster. And you always talk tough. Oh, I'm from Stockton. Okay, you're from the streets of Stockton. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, people don't like people that talk down upon other fighters or other people, right? If I'm talking like, hey, my brother's down, my brother's suffering from a severe car accident, and somebody comes out and goes, ha ha ha, your brother's a dummy for driving and getting hit, and it's funny that he's in a car accident, would I want to whoop that mother trucker's ass? Yeah, absolutely. And I understand where Brendan Schaub's coming from. Brendan Schaub has every right to be furious at what Nate Diaz said. Dudes that were putting it all on the line have trauma now from competing. At the end of the day, let me know what you guys think. I personally think Nate Diaz was off beat for saying what he said. Oh, you're a bitch because you're crying over your friend. That's a bitch move right there. But do I support where they could have a grappling match? Absolutely. Would I want to see Brendan Schaub? Because I'm not really a Brendan Schaub fan, but in this context, I understand that Brendan Schaub is getting shit on and made fun of for showing emotion over his friend that was sick. I guarantee you, if it was the other way around, where Nate Diaz, his older brother, when he competes in the UFC at UFC 310, Nick Diaz gets brutally knocked out, and Brendan Schaub goes online and goes, haha, look at your brother getting knocked out like a punk. He wouldn't like that very much. He would be like, oh, really? You want to talk crap on my brother? That's a different story, because it's his brother getting knocked out. But again, I don't think Brendan Schaub's going to go there and bash on him and make fun of his brother for getting knocked out, if that's the case. But as always, this has been another MMA update. I just wanted to give my opinion on what actually is happening and what actually was said, because it's disgusting what Nate Diaz said over the fact that Brendan Schaub was getting emotional over his friend's CTE issues.